This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download.
I'm Kevin Thompson. I'm Chubray from Return of the Jedi. You're listening to the Nerf Herder Council.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking Nerf herder.
You can't use that word. Only we can use that word.
Map to Skywalker himself. You are right back in the mess.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT. This episode of the podcast is turning into a goddamn episode of Nova. AJ.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Steve.
The vacuum of space does crazy things to your beehole out there, man.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, random BSing leads to a ranking of the movies and homework for the council, and a somewhat discussion of The Force Awakens.
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And don't forget, you can get customized Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So by the time this comes out this Sunday, we will officially be one day away from the final trailer for The Rise of Skywalker. So that'll be pretty cool.
And also one day away from buying tickets for the movie.
That's right.
Are we actually sure that trailer is going to drop?
It was everything that's come out has said either the 14th or the 21st. Majority of it said the 21st, and the 14th passed with nothing. So you got to figure it's Monday Night Football next week. So
that's what they've done each time. Is like right when the trailer plays, the tickets were available. Right?
Yeah. Someone leaked.
See, I don't know because you always control that, and I just sit back and wait for a text telling me that the tickets are bought. And I'm like, all right, sweet.
Isn't that nice to have a friend that's so anal about planning that you don't even have to worry about it? AJ has it with celebration planning. You have it with going to the movies.
My wife's like, what are we going to do for tickets? Don't worry about it.
Oh, it's covered. It's covered.
Bought tickets 7 years ago for the movie. I think we're good. It's cool.
Soon as I started this podcast, we were hooked up. So, I saw somebody post some picture from a movie theater where they were like blocking off times for films in like December, and that was where the whole runtime thing came up at 155 minutes. But another picture that they had posted mentioned something about potentially the tickets going on sale at like 8:00 next Monday, and then AMC actually released something that said 8:00 on Monday. So shout out my text to all of our group yesterday night. Got a response from most people, and we are doing our usual and going to the 7:00 show at the Parma AMC Theater, and meet up at the Crapplebees in the park. Oh, no, it's Rockneys. Oh, good, yeah. So meet up at Rockneys.
Same thing.
Rockneys has much better food than Crapplebees. There's a reason to call it Crapplebees,
Shots of Crown.
Yeah, Shots of Crown. I like it. Maybe some Jägermeister.
I always miss that because of work. By the time I get over there, you guys have already walked out the door, and I'm like, where is everybody? Yeah. We're at the theater already. Oh, okay. Well.
You just got to get out of work early that day, man. We've now done all these movies, and you keep screwing it up.
So, that's kind of what I do.
That's my thing.
I stick with what I'm good at.
So, yeah, that'll be cool, man. I'm interested to see if they show anything of Palpatine in the trailer. I'm guessing probably not. So they'll just leave that as like a surprise for the movie.
Well, they got to put something in there.
Well, what if he's not in corporeal form, like we said?
Yeah, we'll probably
nothing to show.
We'll probably get like a voiceover or something.
Another voiceover. So yeah, I mean, like we always say though, I mean, what are we really going to get? I mean, all these trailers are just so subversive that you're not really going to know anything that's happening. So,
I think this is the first movie where it's really going to lean on that lead-in material, the whole like the road to the rise of Skywalker.
yeah,
Because there's so much stuff that's like, okay, how the hell did you get from being almost obliterated in Last Jedi to being a formidable threat?
Yeah.
Or a credible threat, at least, in the next movie.
Well, I mean, it's like we said.
They do actually have stories covering it, so we know where we're getting them, and they're not going to be in the movie.
Well, like we said, though, they sent out a distress signal, and when nobody responded in like 30 seconds, they're like, oh, the spark's gone out. There's probably people out there that are listening going, Jesus, give me a second here, dude. I was taking a crap.
Yeah.
Like
That was exactly what I was going to say. Why did we both go to like, I was taking a dump?
yeah. Let me at least wipe before I so, hey, go there.
My
Go to
first
great.
thought is that they were on like Cricket Wireless or something. It was just taking a while to get through. But
bad
yeah, taking a crap, same thing.
bad signal. Yeah.
They just had to sober up from all the blue milk.
Yeah. Exactly. No, yeah, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that
It was like the distress signal from the Titanic. Iceberg. Move along.
This is fake.
We're fine.
All of a sudden, the Falcon flies through their airspace, and there's like a ton of First Order dudes following. I'm like, oh crap, they weren't kidding. So yeah, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that people got the distress signal, and they're going to form into a bigger force and stuff. I mean, if they don't do that, it's like, well, okay, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, we're starting to get stuff come out that is helping us piece things together. AJ and I were talking, Steve, about the C-3PO thing. Did you see the Entertainment Weekly, the Zori Bliss picture?
No, I did not.
Yeah. So the
last I saw about 3POs, people just wigging out about the red eye.
Well, so now there's that little creature, I forget his name, but he comes with the 3PO Black Series figure, and they officially announced him and showed his picture. Star Wars did. So he's basically a droid reprogrammer, and the Black Series 3PO, you can take the back of his head off, and there's what looks like a little disc.
Okay.
And in the picture that Entertainment Weekly has of Zori Bliss, she's holding the disc. And so what the speculation now is that little dude like puts that disc into 3PO, because the Black Series, you can take his head off and mess with the disc, whatever. So the speculation is that little dude, it puts the disc in there, and that's why he has the red eyes or something.
Okay.
So that's kind of people piecing things together, and it makes sense. So it'll be interesting to see why he's got the red eyes and what's on that disc, and so there's that. And as things come out, we'll get closer and closer to actual plot type things.
Yeah, right.
So we're officially on AJ going dark on all things.
Yeah.
The Rise of Skywalker. So
if it's released officially, then it's cool. Like if it's in a comic or a book or a trailer or Entertainment Weekly, that's cool. But if you're like, hey, I was on this subreddit and I heard this thing, like, no, shut up.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that.
yeah.
Star Wars Newsnet does not count. That's not credible. That's a fan site. If StarWars.com puts it out, then I feel it's like, okay, that's part of the marketing push.
Star Wars Newsnet usually is pretty spot on with their stuff. They've been really good.
But it's still a fan site trying to get leaks and info out there.
No, well,
It's not part of the marketing push.
True. I like their stuff, but that's the site that I go to. Yeah, but I mean, like I say, we're not going to get anything in the trailer except for cool visuals,
Right.
because as we've said, nothing ever really seems to show us a plot point when you look back at the trailers after having seen the movie.
That would be a cool experiment, actually. It'd be to go back and look at the trailers and see how well or poorly it lines up to the story.
Yeah.
Because remember, wasn't that the thing with Force Awakens? It was pretty much a shot-for-shot, like, sequential telling of the story?
That's what they said. I haven't gone back and watched it, though, because that was one of the rumors.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you get all up in arms about it when you hear it, but then once the movie comes out, you don't even remember what the hell the trailer said.
Yeah. I think I'm getting really excited for the Kylo Ren and Rey fight like the water fight or whatever when they're on the wreckage of the Death Star. I read somewhere that they were saying that it took 6 days to film. So
that's a long time to be wet.
Yeah, and apparently it was cold and stuff. So I don't know if they actually did something outside or if the set was just made to be that realistic. And I don't know, but whatever it was, it just looks cool as hell. The fact that it took forever to film, it's looking pretty kick ass. So I'm excited
you like to
see
think
that.
that's for details, not because of problems. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they want to get it right, and it's an odd sort of place to have a fight, especially if they're dumping water all over them the whole time. Like, are they getting washed overboard into the into the pool or whatever they're doing? I don't know. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. So I'm really wondering what they're going to show on Monday. I'm super pumped because it's new Star Wars, and we're almost 2 months away. We're getting close, and it'll be here before we know it. And thankfully we have Jedi Fallen Order to tide us over, and the Disney Plus launch in a few weeks, which is going to be great. So I
can't believe you didn't mention Star Wars Resistance. You love that show. No, I need to watch the latest episode though, because apparently this week's episode, they do make it to Dakar just after the events of Last Jedi. So they don't know where their fleet went. They do see the wreckage of the
being
base
destroyed. Okay.
And they're trying to salvage whatever they can off of the Dreadnought, actually, because they need supplies.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of cool that the series is running concurrently with the movie timeline right now.
I like that. Like I said, with Disney Plus, I'll probably try and revisit that.
Yeah, because then you can probably just binge watch the thing or something.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, they're releasing it. I mean, that was one of the 600 plus things that they, have on the list of things that. The thing that confused me, like, did you see that Solo and The Last Jedi are not on there? They're not going to be on there till next year?
Yeah, that's one of those weird licensing things because Netflix still has the rights to it.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
the Marvel movies are all messed up like that too.
Yeah, there's almost none of those. Did you see that?
Yeah, there's so much that is still stuck on Netflix that they're just not even going to get their own hands on their own equipment there until
That's so
sometime
strange
next year.
to me. That's you would think. I mean, it's their movie. They can't just have it on both. I mean,
hey, that's the way it goes, man. It's like wrestling. Like Raw and SmackDown weren't on WWE Network until a month after they aired because their deal with USA Network was USA gets the rights.
Wow, who knew? Obviously not me. So
don't get me sidetracked. That's even dumber now. Because now that SmackDown's on Fox counts it as live sports, so you have to have the live TV package on Hulu to watch it. So your standard Hulu will not get you SmackDown.
Man, I was at the bar. There's a new nerd bar right around where we live. And they have
Geeked Out.
Yeah,
I love that place.
And they have Han Solo and Carbonite behind the bar. So I was like, yeah, we're going up there, Steph. So my wife and I headed up there, and they had on one of the televisions
did you ever end up doing the Star Wars trivia this week?
I completely forgot.
Ooh,
I remembered on Wednesday. Yesterday. I was like, whoa.
I had plans to see the Joker, so I could not get out of that. I bought tickets and everything. So
how was that?
Fantastic. Oh, it's such a good movie.
These damn DC movies, man. I don't care.
It's barely a DC movie, man. If you didn't know it was the guy was going to turn into the Joker, it's just a friggin' psychopath becoming a psychopath. It's great.
Maybe I'll see it. I don't know. After the Heath Ledger, he was awesome, and Jack Nicholson. I'm so tired of them having like 18 different stories for all these characters. I'm like, just stop it, man. Like Marvel's got one. I like that. I don't like, well, that one sucked. We're going to do this. Oh, no, that one sucked too. We're going to do this. Like, shut up. So, I have no patience for that. So, but anyways, so.
All right. Two tangents in.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
go.
But yeah, so things are ramping up. We're going to have a ton of Star Wars content coming out between Disney Plus and The Mandalorian and Fallen Order and all the stuff leading up to the Rise of Skywalker. And all I know is like, I think the excitement finally kicked in for me when I saw tickets are going on sale, and I had to send our group text message like, who's in? Because that to me now it's real. Like, we're going to have our tickets in hand. As usual, I'll be like one of the first people on the website, and I'll be texting you guys like 8:02. I got there. I got it. Oh my God. I was like, well, yeah, no, you went in there first. Dummy. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's usually when it really hits for me. It gets real when I have a tangible ticket and I'm like, yes, I'm going to see Star Wars.
Is it weird for you the way everything's tying in now? the way that there's enough like new Disney stuff that they're purposely throwing stuff like references from one project that they've done into another. Like in Resistance, for example, they're hunting for coaxium, which was never a thing until Solo came out.
Yeah.
So then the name of the ship in Last Jedi is the Raddus because of Admiral Raddus in Rogue One. I get that it's all connected, but it's almost like ham-fisted the way that they're just like, hey, remember this thing that was in this other thing?
Yeah.
Here. It was there the whole time. Trust me.
You remember this thing from the movie that you people did like? We're going to put it in the movie that you didn't like. So hopefully you like part of the thing that you don't like.
Oh, you mean like Darth Maul being at the end of Solo?
Yeah. I truly believe that was part of the reasoning of why they wrote that. They were just like, dude, people are not going to like this because it's not part of the saga and this and that. And maybe if we just put Darth Maul in, it'll be cool.
I don't know how they would have thought it wouldn't have been cool. Although with all the problems that movie had, I guess maybe they weren't sure what they had until we better put something cool in here because this might suck. We're not sure what pile of crap is going to come out of all these problems. So, no, it doesn't really bother me. I mean, it's not overly like, they called the ship the Raddus, but they never came out in the movie and were like, this ship's called the Raddus. So
here's the reason why.
Yeah, so it's just kind of there. And the coaxium, okay, we know what coaxium is from Solo, but it's a thing.
And then General Syndulla to the blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, so there's your Rebels nod.
Yeah, and they had the ghost, in that. So no, it doesn't. I in a way, I kind of think it's cool. I kind of like that they're doing that, and because to me, it doesn't seem ham-fisted, so. It doesn't seem overly shoehorned in there. It just kind of seems like, okay, things are tied together and here's a reminder in a small way. Like you had to look for the ghost. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like the first ship that comes out. You're like, oh, that's the ghost, man. Like,
yeah, they're all kind of Easter egged in. They're not even the names. They kind of say it in passing, instead of like we were just saying, emphasizing it to be like, hey, look, the name of the ship.
Quick, we have to go get on the Raddus.
Like there's like a name on the side, like the space shuttles used to have it like on the front end. It's just really big on the thing, and they just happen to walk past it and stop in front of the name and have a conversation or something.
I just want one of the ships in episode 9 to be called the Zuvio.
Oh, that's what I forgot to bring today. Guess who was my my Star Wars calendar thing yesterday? It was Zuvio.
What could they possibly have about Zuvio?
I don't know, but it was awesome, so I kept it. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm totally keeping the Zuvio. October 16th.
Star Wars 7x7 actually said that he is in like a blink and you'll miss it background plate in Force Awakens. So he is apparently on screen at some point. It's just you can't see him because he's so far back.
He's the Quinlan Voss,
right? He is.
Sequel trilogy.
He is. Oh my God.
I'm actually just waiting for like the end of episode 9 when everything is done and the credits roll and they just do like a Marvel post-credit scene and Zuvio just slowly walks in and then breaks fourth wall and does like
like a Deadpool.
Turns around and looks at the screen like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and tells you that it's the end of the Star Wars saga. Like, there he is.
They have subtitles. It's got to be subtitled. What are you still doing here? The movie's over. The Skywalker saga's over.
Had this damn toy for 2.5 years. There he is, finally.
That guy marks officially my stupidest Black Series purchase because I got him for $20 at Walmart. And then like a couple weeks later, AJ's like, you idiot, they're selling them for $5 everywhere else. I was like, God damn it. So that's when I learned to start looking for sales.
That even trumps your Jin and Cassian purchases at Celebration.
No, those were $5.
I thought they were 10.
No, they were 5.
It's like the guy getting the tattoo of in Fanboys of Anakin.
Oh, Jar Jar. Yeah.
Jar Jar.
This guy is going to be the... I'm telling you.
And it's just Zuvio now.
That's what I need. I need an entire back piece of Zuvio. And I'll put a date like a couple days before episode 7 came out, so it looks like I did it then.
They just put out the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. They need to do a Fanboys reboot. It's time for another Fanboys.
A sequel.
That would be outstanding.
That movie's so underrated. If anybody listening to this has never seen the movie Fanboys, you run, don't walk. That movie is so great. It is so great. It's funny because one of the what's his name? What's the fat dude in the movie?
Hutch.
Thank you. He's in the new season of Walking Dead.
Yeah. I saw him. I'm like, oh.
I walked in. I walked in. My wife's watching The Walking Dead, and I see him. And he said something. Well, where are we going? And I looked at the screen and I went, to your garage. Carriage house. Steph goes, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, never mind. It was funny to me. It was funny to me.
Two Fantastic Beasts movies in the past 3 years or something, and all I see every time he's on the screen is Hutch. I don't care that he's got a haircut. I don't care that he's a legitimate main character. It's just I'm sitting in the theaters the very first time, and I'm like,
the Hutch touch.
Yep.
I like sweaty yams. That movie is so awesome, man.
But she's got it where it counts.
I want that van. I want his van. It's all Rush all the time.
That damn briefcase with the cassettes in it.
It's nothing but Rush cassettes. That's so great. Oh my God. I saw that movie in the theater, because it was a very limited theatrical release because it took forever for them to actually be able to get it out.
Uh-huh.
And I was at the Cedar Lee and I was just like, this is fantastic. I went with my buddy Arizona Mike. It was so funny. Weren't you with me? Did you go with me to that?
No, I didn't actually.
I thought somebody else went with us, but yeah, that I could not stop laughing at that. I still can't. I love it. That's just such a great
I don't
movie.
remember being Cedar Lee, but I do remember finally driving God knows where to see that thing in theaters at some point. There was 8 people in the theater. I'm like, you people are uncultured swines not being in the damn theater for this movie. Right. You should all be ashamed of yourselves.
So speaking of movies, I wanted to ask you guys this because I sent you a screenshot of this, but I don't think you looked at it. So we'll play a guessing game. It's always interesting. It's always interesting what you see on Twitter, and sometimes sometimes you see people just trying to be cool, and they want to bash things without making it obvious that they're bashing things, which to me makes it worse. Just quit the passive aggressive crap and just come out and say it, okay? So this person posted their ranking of the Star Wars movies, and they have 13 selections in here. So I want to see if you guys can guess with the order of this, because this order to me is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I remember part of it. I don't think AJ saw it because I totally commented back on it. So I remember most of it. I remember the key positionings of a few of these. So yeah, I'll leave it alone. All
right. So what do you think his number one favorite Star Wars movie is? That's pretty obvious. Don't be reading it, AJ.
I'm not.
Okay, well then answer the question.
My phone does lots of other things too.
Well, excuse me, we're in the middle of a podcast.
I'm in the middle of checking my phone.
Well, excuse me.
I had a phone long before we had a podcast.
All right, that's fine. You're hitting on chicks. Steve. Well, Casanova over there.
No, I didn't realize you were asking me.
Yeah, okay.
There's boobs to be seen on Twitter.
So it's from Twitter, and we were joking about it. So his favorite movie is going to be Caravan of Courage.
No. Be serious.
Very.
Well, yeah, this guy apparently has very bad taste. That's why I figured I would go for
his number one is pretty much the one.
Empire.
Yes. What is his number 2?
Again, if I remember correctly, this one should be pretty easy. Nice. Right?
Yeah.
Number 2 is pretty easy. I remember number 3 is when he starts to get stupid.
Okay, so it's got to be the original then for number 2.
Yeah. New Hope. All right, so number 3. What do you think his third favorite Star Wars movie is?
Oh, boy. Okay, I'll tee it up for you so you can respond. So I'm going to say that it's The Force Awakens.
No.
What are you doing?
Sorry, while you were talking, I'm trying to find it on the DVD shelf over here.
No, you don't have it, dude.
Yes, we do.
No, you don't.
No, I know what number 3 is, and I know I have it over here.
I know what number 3 is, too, and you gave it to me.
Really?
Oh,
okay. So that's why I can't find it.
You had it. Yeah. It's not even a movie. It's volume 1 of the original Clone Wars cartoon that introduced Grievous and stuff. I'm like, that's not even a movie.
No, it compiles to about 2 hours of stuff, but it's little 5-minute episodes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. All right.
I'm
also
glad you
not
said
that
that,
good.
by the way, because I
really
would have been
not
down
that
here
good.
for like an hour after we were done recording trying to find that thing.
What about his fourth favorite?
Oh, let's see. If he likes Clone Wars, then probably the Clone Wars movie is next.
No. Steve, do you have a guess?
If I remember correctly, I think it was episode 2 or 3.
3.
Are there
Revenge of
any
the Sith.
explanations to these, by the way?
No.
No.
Oh, see, at least when we did this before, the guy actually said why this was better than that.
Well, it's 160 characters or whatever. You can't really explain this. Number 5. This one's a little obvious, but
Return of the Jedi?
that would be correct.
So we haven't even gotten in any sequel territory yet, and we're almost halfway
No.
down the list.
Here's where it gets.
So we have Clone Wars and original trilogy completely off the list.
Yeah. Now this is
The Clone Wars movie is still in play.
Yeah. What is number 6? Here's where it gets crappier than the Clone Wars cartoon. Although they're both really stupid.
Is he counting the holiday special?
No, he is not.
Okay. Then
He
I'm
might as
gonna
well have.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go for Battle of Endor, the second Ewok movie.
No, that is on the list though, but it is further down.
Okay, well he's not completely wrong then.
Yeah, well, we'll see about that.
Well, you didn't say it was last, so that's why I'm saying he's not completely wrong, but it's farther down than this, so he's on the right track.
Yes.
I can't remember this one.
I gotta say Force Awakens.
I was
Then.
going to say, is this
No.
where he... Oh, okay. So
The
that was
Clone
gonna be
Wars
my guess.
cartoon movie.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You
Yeah,
guessed Battle of Endor.
Thought that
You did
whatever.
mention
Okay.
the Clone Wars movie.
You mentioned
I
it,
can't, no, it
Wrong
was
spot.
It was
Wrong
when I
spot,
said
okay.
that the original trilogy was all played out
Yeah.
already.
So now that we know it's ridiculous, I can run it down.
Yeah. Let's,
So number 7 is Rogue One. So basically, he's saying the original Clone Wars cartoon and the Clone Wars cartoon movie are both better than Rogue One. That, to me, instantly removes credibility.
usually opinions can't be right or wrong, but this one is.
Yeah, thank you. Force Awakens is number 8. So, okay, I have it. It's been my...
He put Rogue One ahead of Force Awakens.
Yeah. Number 9 is Episode 2.
Wow.
So remember, this is number 9, and we have 13. So, yeah. Number 10 is the Ewok movie Battle of Endor.
At
now-
least he got those in the right order.
If you're keeping track at home,
It is better than Caravan of Courage.
well, number 11 is Episode 1. Okay.
Well, we've tried ranking these before, and some come in really low only because other things are ahead of them, not because they deserve to be that low on any list.
Well,
So something's got to fall if you're going to push something up ahead of it.
here's the douchebaggery.
Okay.
We have number 12 and 13 left.
So we've got one Ewok movie left
Yes.
and The Last Jedi.
Yes.
So Last Jedi is going to be last. and-
Yes.
Wow.
So he put Caravan of Courage ahead of The Last Jedi.
See, we've discussed this, though. Isn't it great that people hate it that much? Isn't it great that they took a friggin' risk and put out a movie that wasn't all fan service? And I'm not even slamming JJ with this. I love the fact that 8 movies into a saga, they're like, we're still going to take chances.
That's why I love it.
Yeah.
I just,
I mean, basically what this guy did is he knew what he wanted at number 1 and at number 13,
yeah.
placed those, and then just started putting filler
And it's
in
like the
because
old
he
Royal
had
Rumble?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he had no clue what he wanted to do after that. He did,
right.
Grabbing
he did-
ping pong balls out of the hopper.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mr. Perfect at number 6. What the heck?
He wanted to be internet funny guy and make fun of the Last Jedi and put filler in the rest of it.
Especially without explanation. Like, he's
Yep.
not even having to think about it too hard. He's just like, yeah, random number generator, go.
And honestly, I'm just waiting for next Monday because, if you believe everything we've heard on the internet for the past 2 years and all the backlash and everything of The Last Jedi, the theater should be pretty empty, correct?
Yeah.
Right? The ticket sales should be in the toilet and everything, because everybody's boycotting Star Wars because Disney's ruining it in The Last Jedi. So it's going to be horrible, right?
It's
Solo. Not going to have.
I love when you get pissy sarcastic.
It's not going to be like probably the highest pre-sale tickets ever in the history of movies, which it probably will be. It's not going to do anything like that, right?
Solo took the brunt of that. I'm sorry. I think the fandom is now spent. It's like after a good fight with your wife or your girlfriend or husband or boyfriend or whatever, where, you get all that crap out. That's what Solo is for. Now you're feeling all warm and lovey-dovey again, and they're just going to come back and love on the Skywalker.
So episode 9 is just the grudge then?
Nailed it.
And that's how an intro clip is born.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Solo, because I think that Solo was kind of, an FU to those people that were like, I'm boycotting. So they boycott Solo and then secretly went and saw it and were like, crap, this is actually really good.
Okay, so I got it now. So what you're saying is, because people saw Solo, realized it was good after the boycott, now they can justify buying the tickets for 9 by going, well, I like Solo and I thought that they were ruining everything, so
they just won't admit it. They just won't admit it. They'll say, well, I was boycotting episode 8. No, I'm not boycotting episode 9 because it's not episode 8.
Yeah. So, what the reality is they really weren't boycotting Star Wars anyways. They were still just giving them money and watching the movies, and they just wanted to get clout on the internet.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So do you guys
like the Thanos meme? All that for a drop of clout.
Yeah, that's a perfect meme for that too. So do you guys have like a definitive like favorite and least favorite Star Wars movie, like I do?
No.
What about you, Steve?
Not really.
I mean, if you're going to include all 13, we can certainly collectively rule some of them out, right? Like, we know the Ewok movies and the Clone Wars movie, and if we're going to include the Clone Wars, the series, those are the bottom 4,
well,
right?
This guy didn't even include Solo. I mean, that's how you know it's kind of like a dick move. He's purposely putting the Ewok movies in there just to crap on The Last Jedi. Meanwhile, he completely forgets about a theatrical release.
Yeah,
just
true.
because he's trying to be a dick.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of things I want to say on Twitter. Like, you're just being a jackass, right? We could see right through you. Just go, I hate The Last Jedi. Okay, fine. A lot of people do. How about you man up or woman up and just come out and say it? Because your dumb ass forgot Solo. Stupid.
Fair enough. Okay, so
honestly,
our
as
list,
you were going through the list, I forgot about Solo too. So.
Yeah.
Our list would go like this: all the animated and TV stuff goes at the bottom, right?
Pretty much.
You don't count it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're talking movies, you're not going to
stick
put that
to
on
theatrical
the list anyway.
releases. And if the theatrical releases count,
Well,
then
Clone Wars is a theatrical release.
That's the last one, but I don't count it because it's a cartoon. That was kind of like a intro to the. We can count it if you want, but for me, then that's obviously last.
But it's basically what you said earlier, AJ. It's just that you have to have a list, and somewhere along the line, there has to be a top and a bottom. It's not that I despise episode 2 or anything. It's just if we're going to put the list together, that's probably
there you go.
the
I was just
one
going to say,
watch the least.
I think we can all agree episode 2 is at the bottom, right? Not because we hate it that much, just because which one are you going to put behind it if it's not last?
Force Awakens.
Wow, dude, really?
Dude, I'm sorry. I
don't care that it's a rehash. I like it. I don't care.
Dude, I love it, but it's the only time I left the theater after a Star Wars movie going, oh, okay. Instead of, holy crap.
And I think it is the simple rehash of it that actually makes it easy to sit down and watch. And that's kind of what I'm thinking in my head of like, what am I going to, if I grab all the movies up, and put them up in the Blu-ray player, what am I going to sit down and watch? Force Awakens is an easy one to sit down and just watch.
I rewatched that by far the least. Although I rewatched the Graveyard of Giants scene more than any other scene in Star Wars.
You put the Blu-ray in, just skip to that chapter.
I do, because I've got the home 3D and it looks amazing in 3D. So I'm watching the Falcon fly around and kick ass for a few minutes. I'm like, okay, got it.
The other reason you might be watching it less is because we watched the hell out of that movie in the theaters and in replays leading up to The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So it's still pretty new, and you've seen it a ton over the last few years.
I've seen The Last Jedi and Rogue One way more times, especially Rogue One. I just rewatched part of Rogue One the other night.
Oh yeah, Rogue One is like forever rewatched. I don't know what they did with that movie, but it's so damn good.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the dialogue is great, and everything about that movie is great. I mean, for me, my favorite Star Wars movie is Episode 3, but I will say that the best Star Wars movie is Empire, followed very closely by Rogue One, but my favorite is Episode 3. Because me and you had a really cool experience watching that. It was the first time we had seen this, like a Star Wars movie in the theater together since the very first one we saw, which was '83 when Jedi came out. So that was cool.
So let's try to build this list in reverse order then, because it's hard. It's hard when you get at the top to like pick what's your absolute best. But we know Episode 2 is our agreed upon last place because there's except for JT, you want 7 to be last. So okay, I would put 7 towards the bottom. Steve, what about you?
I'm just thinking watchability, so I would have it closer to the top, honestly.
See, you know what we need to do? This is a good episode exercise. This is what we should do one time. Because I used to do this at fantasy football, and it helped me out. I would get like 3 different magazines, and I would, to figure out who I wanted to draft where, I would take like the top 10 quarterbacks, and I would assign a point value. So it's like if they were top 1, they'd have a number 1, and then so on. It's 1 through 10. And then I would add them all up, for the 3 magazines, and whoever had the lowest number, kind of like golf, that was who was first on the list. So we should do that. We should each make a top list, and then I'll do the math that way, and then we'll have a Nerf Herder Council consensus list of, where they fall.
Ooh, interesting.
So we should do that sometime, because we never really had like a consensus list. But anyway, so we'll do that another time. But you said kind of consensus is that Episode 2, at least for you guys, is the least rewatchable. Is that what you're going with? See, I love that movie because it's so different from any of the other ones. It's like a whoddunit.
The love story just kills it. The love story makes it unwatchable. There's parts you just have to skip.
Yeah,
like I said, we're all thinking of different ways or reasons to rank them why they are. Like I said, I'm just immediately thinking of watchability more than, oh my God, I love this movie. So.
Okay.
It all depends.
So name
on
an unwatchable one.
2. Like that's probably the most unwatchable one to me.
Wow.
And next most unwatchable?
He's going to say Episode 1.
Probably 1. Yeah.
You prequel hater?
Not really. It's just because I would put 3 pretty high up on the list, honestly.
3 is awesome. I still can't get through that movie a single time without going, oh man, don't turn. There's just something about the way they conveyed what he was going through and everything that it's just, I just always am like, oh man, do you have to?
It is honestly in my head because of watchability and all that stuff. I'm thinking a lot of the newer stuff is going to be closer to the top. Like not to even crap on original trilogy because I love it, but it's just, the new special effects, all the new characters that we are currently seeing, like it's easier for me to sit down and watch those. So 7, 8, even things like Rogue One, because it's newer, Solo, like all those movies would actually be kind of closer to the top of my list just because I know I've seen 4, 5, and 6 a million times. So why watch it again? So I would watch the newer ones probably a little more frequently, to tell you the truth. So I'm just as I'm piecing it together in my head, I'm like, yeah, 7, 8, Rogue One and Solo. Yeah. Like, holy, like all the newer stuff is kind of near the top of my list.
You know what, too? I find myself coming back to the most Jedi and Rogue One. And I don't know why. It's like, Rogue One is obvious. Like you said, maybe it's because it's newer, but that movie just strikes me as just like perfect all the way around. I love every second of that movie. And I love all of Jedi too. It's just weird if I'm thinking about, like, I have all of them downloaded to my tablet and I'll put like a Star Wars movie in when I'm cooking dinner and stuff like that, and have something going. And for some reason, I just always fall back to that. It has to be something subconscious about me and you being in the theater for the first time. It has to be, AJ.
Must be.
That's all I can think of because I like the other 2, I would say a little bit better than Jedi, even though I love all 3 of them. But that's the one I always go back to watching. So I don't know. To me, like you guys are using the word unwatchable. None of them are unwatchable for me.
You know the one I watched the least? The original.
I kind of don't really fall back on that one either.
Maybe it's because we've all seen it so much and it's so
Right.
revered that we just you assume you know everything about it already, even
it's
though
like
you
there's
really
no
don't.
need.
Every time we go to a trivia contest, there's always something we're like, oh God, what was that? Oh no.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you're right. Like you feel like you know the thing top to bottom, front to back, and you're like, there's no need to watch that.
Yeah.
And you go to something else instead. And then, like you said, you go to trivia and there's a stupid question about the original, and you're just like, I haven't watched that in like 8 years.
I know.
Yeah.
It always happens to me. I'm like, that. How do I not know that? I've seen that movie like a billion times. Like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I say, like for me, there's nothing unwatchable. It's just which ones do I rewatch the least, I would say. And again, like Force Awakens is that one for me. And you know, but again, I really, really like it. I love it. It's a Star Wars movie. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's just, I think, you know, and I've you know said it before. I just every time I go to a Star Wars movie, I'm there to see something new, like progress the story, show me something I haven't seen. And when I saw basically something that I felt like I had seen, kind of bummed me out a little bit. So that was kind of, you know, a thing to me, like especially having waited all this time for, you know, we never thought there'd be a 7, 8, and 9. All of a sudden you find out there's going to be a 7, 8, and 9. You're like, oh my God, that's awesome. And the first thing I get was something that felt too episode 4.
Right.
I mean, if they would have popped out with like, you know, The Last Jedi right out of the gate, and that was the new movie, I would have lost it. I'd have been like, this is amazing. Like, this is perfect. Like, they're taking chances. This is the kind of thing George Lucas would do.
Now, in the theater, though, when did it start feeling like a rehash for you?
It actually started feeling like a rehash before the movie even came out. I got annoyed when they released the official poster.
Starkiller Base?
Yes.
Yeah.
I went, dude, we've already seen the giant round ball weapon thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are we doing that again? Why? And then like you said, even in the movie when they're like, it's a Death Star. No, it's bigger. Like, oh, they even referenced it. Like,
Because as much as everyone says, oh, it's just a rehash, really, okay, yes, in broad strokes, but it didn't feel like one until they got to that third act and they were going to Starkiller Base and they actually called out the Death Star as like, oh, that's way smaller.
Yeah, because like,
Until that point, it's like, okay, you got Rey's intro, which
Right.
Rey, okay, yes, she's an orphan on a desert planet, but her backstory is mysterious, and her introduction as a scavenger inside the hull of a Star Destroyer is completely unique. All the crap with Finn and Poe, never seen that before.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's intro where he freezes the blaster bolt, and all, that's all new. Like, there's a ton of good stuff in the front of that movie, and it's not until they do the Tretch run on the giant ball weapon that it totally feels like the same thing.
Yeah, I'm usually very good at distancing myself and just getting lost in the movie instead of sitting there and thinking that was an episode 4 rehash. But yeah, it was right on the hologram screen when they showed the Death Star and the thing that it clicked like,
yeah,
like you didn't have to show it.
Yeah.
Right. Remember the Death Star? Ah, come on!
And then there's the line, when it was it the Leia line to Han, who says, when has that ever helped before? And don't say the Death Star.
Yeah.
Like, they just called right back to it. Like there's nothing else that's happened in your lives for the last 30 friggin' years.
That one didn't really bother me because it was kind of funny, like talking about, oh, you got to go back like 40 years to think of something you didn't F up or whatever. Like,
Right.
okay, like that I didn't mind. Like I said, it's just, you know, and I've never been able to fully put my finger on it. I think
what bothered me about that stuff was that the callbacks were all to episode 4. It wasn't a
Oh, that's a
callback
good
to Return
point.
of the Jedi. It wasn't a callback to Empire.
Yeah.
It was all episode 4.
when she meets Chewie for the first time. Oh, Chewie, you still eating things that look like warthogs that are dead and stuck on a stick and getting trapped in nets? Really? That's what you're gonna do? Like, what the F is that? So
Like, she might as well just walked past him, snubbing him on that hug at the end of the movie, and just gone walking carpet.
yeah, it's just throw everything in there. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the first 45 minutes or so of that movie, I just thought was great. I was into it, and it was weird for me when I first saw it because I think my brain was still going, well, you know, where's Luke and Leia and stuff? And having seen the trailer, knowing that Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon were coming, part of me was going, okay. There's new characters. I don't give a damn. Give me the Falcon. Where's Han?
Right.
Give me the Falcon. You know, but I mean, that's just me. You know, but I was loving the movie because it was new and there were, you know, some cool characters, and
The Falcon's reintroduction was really cool.
that was awesome.
The garbage will do.
Yes, that was awesome, and especially when she runs toward you, I'm like, that's the music. That's how it goes. That's how it really goes. So yeah, it was cool. And then I think just because the rest was a letdown, maybe that's it, that I was so excited for the first part of it, and then, you know. But again, I still love it. Like, there's people that I know that's my least favorite, and they actually think I hate that movie. I'm like, I don't hate it at all. I love it. It's a Star Wars movie. It's fun. It's the one I rewatch the least. The middle of my list will be difficult.
It's the death of Han Solo that also does it for you.
Well, yeah.
We knew it was coming, and it was hard to watch the first time. It was actually still shocking because just like Anakin's fall, like, we knew it was going to happen, but even as he's walking, I was like, maybe he won't. Maybe he won't. Maybe this isn't how it happens. Maybe. Oh,
I will never forget sitting there, and then the music stopped, and all of a sudden the light turned to red, and I literally remember, I go, don't you do it. and they did. I was like,
that was good and shocking though, to like just straight up like gore the dude like face to face like that, not over anger or anything, just like
I mean, if you're gonna do it, that was a very cool way to do it.
There in the theater that opening night, and as soon it was the sky view looking down, and he started taking steps onto that thing. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah, he ain't walking back.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is going to be insufferable when we walk out of this damn theater tonight. I'm like, this is going down right now, and I'm peeking over.
Name a time in Star Wars where someone has walked out over a giant hole and not fallen in it.
Yeah.
The red herring in Star Wars. Damn it, giant hole. One of these guys is gone.
I mean, you got the Sarlacc, you got Cloud City, you got Starkiller Base, you've got the power generator core in Theed Palace.
Yep.
Like, if there's a giant hole, something is falling in it. That's the way it goes.
Right.
The shaft in the Emperor's throne room at the end of Jedi.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's going to be the closing scene of episode 9 is just Rey and Kylo are going to meet one more time, and they're going to step out on a narrow bridge over a hole, and we all got to scoot up to the edge of our seats like, okay.
Yeah. Or here
we go, everybody.
they're fighting at that fight over the water, and all of a sudden you see like a cyclone form, and it just becomes this big like empty like hurricane thing next to it, where we're gonna nudge each other and go, hey dudes, giant hole. They're both screwed. Like, so real quick, one last thing and we'll get out of here. But speaking of like J.J. Abrams killing off Han Solo, somebody posted this awesome fan art. It was like a fake poster, but it looked real, and I had that split second of like absolute fury until my brain went stupid. They're not going to show that, but it was Palpatine, like, you know, like the whole Starkiller thing with the Force Unleashed, where he was like pulling down the
Yeah.
Well, it was Palpatine doing that with the Falcon, but excuse me, ripping it in half. So it's the Falcon getting ripped in half and all destroyed. And it said like the rise of Skywalker.
Nope, won't happen.
Yeah, well, yeah, but my first visceral reaction was, oh, they're not going to show that on a poster.
Right.
But the guy who tweeted it, like, isn't this great? But what would you guys think if this actually happened? And I said, you know what? I would buy a plane ticket. I would go to Los Angeles or wherever Bad Robot is. I would find J.J. Abrams, and I would kick him as hard in the dick as I possibly could. Because if anything deserves a shot to the junk, it's someone who kills off both Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon.
Ooh, do you think Lando survives this movie?
That's a good question. I've thought about that.
They're doing really good at killing off the old characters.
I know.
They certainly are.
I'm honestly, I'm fully expecting him to have like 30 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting him to just be like, hey, I'm back. And then he flies the Falcon, smiles, and then that's all you see of Lando.
Thanks for the ride, guys.
Yeah, he just joyrides.
I just had to get back to Cloud City.
That's all it is. He gets stranded somewhere. They need a lift. The Falcon just happens to fly by, and Chewie goes, hey, that's Lando. And they pick him up and drop him off. Like, here, you want to drive on the way? He's like, yeah, that's why he's laughing. Right. Oh, I remember this ship. And then they drop him off like, see you later. And then they get back in the battle and everything. It's just like intergalactic Uber for Lando Calrissian.
It's that RTA shuttle for the senior folks. He's just got to go to the grocery store.
Yeah, he's got dementia, so he got lost on the senior jitney and had to catch a ride on the Falcon back to Bespin.
They show it. They pick up Lando, and then they show him flying through space. And you see that the back end of the Falcon has a lit up lift sign on it.
That's what they replaced the dish with. Instead of a dish, it's actually a big lift sign. So, oh man! On that note, there we go.
Then at the end of the movie, Ray gets pissed off that Lando rated her like a 4.0 out of 5. You didn't have any Colt 45 on board.
That's awesome.
I know where I used to hide it, and it wasn't there.
You
always smelled like porg.
Like, nice.
Trifling bitch stole my booze.
Oh, that's a perfect endpoint, I guess. So, thanks. On that note, we'll close up shop. Oh my gosh. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. We appreciate it. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Spotify. Just look us up on a podcast app and we're probably there. All of our episodes are available on YouTube. You can visit us at our website, nerfherdercouncil.com, to interact with us via email or to get our episodes there. You can email us, nerfherdercouncil@gmail.com. We are available on Facebook, so look us up there. And we are very active on our Twitter page at NHC Podcast. So once again, I am your host, JT, at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579. Why'd you say that so weird?
I don't know. And he's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
AJ's a dick, and we will catch you next time.
Bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.